It's RPG Fortress' The Year of the Legend of Heroes!
Yay!
This is my favorite ever RPG Fortress video series! I like it when he talks about trails in the sky. My favorite character is Olivier, he's such a cornball! Capitalism and consumerism are twin horrors slowly killing humankind and must be stopped. I like it when Gilbert goes blorf. I can't believe we are already on Trails the Third. We are blowing through these games like your mom blowing your dad. Prior to 2026, I had only ever finished the first Trails game. I did that back in 2023 after trying, unsuccessfully, to start this series many times over the last 2 decades, but here we are, already on the 3rd game in the series, and it's so ironic that it's the 3rd game, and it's called the 3rd. The Trails series is the largest sub-series of games in the Legend of Heroes series, which also features the Dragon Slayers and Gargov trilogy games. 2 sub-series that are absolutely defunct in 2026, although I kinda wish they'd bring back Dragon Slayer, but not as much as I wish they'd bring back Popful Man. This is the last game in the In the Sky part of the Trails game, so I went in expecting the thrilling conclusion to Estelle's story. Wait, you're saying Estelle's story wrapped up beautifully in Trails SC? You're saying Trails in the Sky the Third is not really part of that story? You're saying Estelle isn't even the main character? You're telling me that Falcom did a fan game of their own game series? What the fuck? Trails in the Sky the Third was not what I was expecting, but I really want to talk about it. I have a lot to say about this game, but is it good or is it bad? Or is it something nuanced somewhere in between? Or is it great and just a little bit weird, but I still really liked it and I love this game series and I can't wait to get into the next part of the series and I think it's called Trails in Space or something? Hey, I'm Richard, and this is RPG Fortress, and this is Trails in the Sky the Third annihilated my expectations and fully ascended to the status of one of my all-time favorite game series next to Shining Force, Phantasy Star, and Dragon Quest. Roll the fucking intro, boys. Before we begin, I just want to say that I don't go out of my way to spoil a game's story or gameplay, but I also don't go out of my way to avoid spoilers if there's something I want to talk about, so here's your warning, there may be spoilers ahead. Let's get right into the story. The story, where the hell is Estelle? You play as Kevin. I like Kevin, but I love Estelle. Gosh darn it, why did they? So yes, you play as Father Kevin Graham, first introduced in Trails in the Sky SC. He was introduced as a somewhat mysterious priest of Adios and spent most of the game showing up in the right place at the right time. That is until the ending scenes when spoiler. Now you play as Kevin on a job for the church. He's joined by Sister Reese, essentially a battle nun, and that's pretty darn cool. Early into the game, Kevin and Reese are blasted into this unknown magic realm with demons and fiends. Neither Kevin nor Reese understand what's going on, and there are masked villains here to stunt on them. I really liked the story of this game, but this game kind of feels like a fan game. I'll expand on these thoughts later, but let me tell you, the story's themes of forgiveness, redemption, and humanity really fucking moved me. These themes are wonderfully deep, especially lined up against all of the silly jokes, funny moments, and absurd interactions. The first 2 games had some truly moving moments. I teared up more than a few times playing through each of those games, and third wasn't any different, even with that fan game feeling. I'm really looking forward to starting the Crossbell arc to see how these subtle and not so subtle foreshadowings from third play out. I am truly in awe of how large the story has gotten, and we've still got like 10 games to go. So, development of this game was, of course, done by Nihon Falcom. It was released for Japanese Windows in 2007, with the PSP port coming in 13 months later. The game was meant to be an epilogue for the first 2 games, while at the same time setting up the larger story and foreshadowing events for the next couple of games and their new arc, the Crossbell arc. The game did not get translated for English-speaking territories until 2017, a full decade after its original Japanese release. That is a very long wait. Essentially, these games were never promised to be localized into English. It took a very long time for English-speaking audiences to catch up with the releases of these games. There's a load of videos here on YouTube that go in depth on this topic if you are interested in learning more. This game does a fantastic job of putting a bow on Stell's story and opening the doors to the wider Trails of other games not called Trails in the Skyverse. I mean, that's what the internet says. Other than 2 hours of Trails of Cold Steel 1 I played on the PSP and 2 hours of Trails of Cold Steel I played on Steam, Trails the Third is as far as I've gotten in this series. But I've been told by numerous highly trusted sources, aka people I know on the internet, that this is pretty much the case. Still, regardless of what I know or don't know is coming, the plot beats in this game are pretty beefy and deserve continuation. Roll on, Trails from Zero. Alright, so this game plays a lot like the first 2 games, so instead of recounting previously discussed gameplay elements, let's play. Richard talks about a bunch of things that stuck out to him while playing through this crazy fan game made by superfans of the series, aka the actual devs. Needing to use all of your party members. In the OG Trails, you basically spent the whole game playing as Estelle and Joshua, with the other party members coming and going as the story progressed. In Trails SC, you basically spent the whole game playing as Estelle and getting to choose the other 3 party members in your team. In Trails the Third, you will need to split your team into multiple parties, facilitating the need to use everybody. Memory doors give you some damn good character progression. Remember how in the Trails SC video I said that while all of the characters got a bit of story progression, some of them didn't get as much as others? Well, in Trails the Third, you get memory doors. These optional events give your characters big beefy slabs of story progression. Well, kinda beefy for some of the characters, but mega beefy for others. There are 3 kinds of doors. Star doors, these are short stories. They only take 15 to 20 minutes to complete. Sun doors, also short little 20-minute stories, but these all end with mini-games that may or may not drive you fucking bonkers. And lastly, moon doors. There's only 5 of these in the whole game, but these give you very large story segments where you actually get to run around in the world. Zin's Star Door only took about 20 minutes to finish, whereas Chloe's Moon Door took about 2 hours. Still, length discrepancy aside, these do a great job of fleshing out your characters. Okay, so you know by now that I love the quests in these games, how the Bracer Guild quests are basically updated Phantasy Star 4 Hunters Guild quests. These interesting and fun quests where there is always something intriguing happening and none of that WoW style kill 6 things, then find 6 things, then find 6 more things style quests. These Bracer Guild quests are solid. Well, where the hell are they? Since you are playing as Kevin this time around, and Kevin isn't a Bracer, there are no Bracer Guild quests. This kinda sucks, I'm not gonna lie. I understand why there aren't any of those quests, but surely they could have manufactured some way to give you quests. Pop a mysterious wizard man in the hub area who needs you to help him with a bunch of things for rewards, blah blah blah. I mean, I guess all of the doors are a reasonable replacement, but I liked seeing my Bracer rank go up. Okay, I want to talk about the party members some more. So one of the biggest things that makes this game feel like a fan game is that everyone is here. It's like Smash Brothers. The roster is fucking huge and absolutely stacked. This game has all of the previous party members, but also some villains and also some good guy NPCs. It feels like the devs were just like, yep, I like that guy, put him in, and they did. So you get all of the hits like Estelle and Joshua and Tita, but you also get Julia and Mueller. Going into battle with Olivier, fully done up as Prince Olivert, along with Mueller, just feels good. Those 2 are like peanut butter and oil. I just like seeing them go into battle together. You also get some top tier villains like Richard and Ren. Just goddamn. There are 16 characters that join your party. That is too many. That is Final Fantasy VI levels of too many. But I'm okay with it. And with the aforementioned, you will need to use everyone at some point, it's super cool to have such a massive and varied roster. Although I basically just used Estelle, Annalise, Tita, and Ren as often as I could. The game's graphics look just like the last two games. The music. It has a lot of familiar tunes, but a couple of really standout new tracks. I was disappointed with a lot of the battle music in SC, not because it's bad, in fact it's pretty good, but just because none of it hit as hard as the default battle music from the first game. That's just the jazziest battle theme I have ever heard, so to hear that main melody sampled as part of the new boss theme in Trails 3, I was pretty excited. I literally yelled, "Hell yes," when I heard it for the first time. Nightmare mode. What the fuck? So, I like achievements. I am old enough to remember a world without achievements. When I was younger, I would often get to the end of a game and then just spend a dozen hours leveling up my dudes before finishing the game. Nothing too wild there, but now with achievements, I have shifted from leveling up to crazy high levels, being my endgame, to getting all of the achievements as my endgame. Also, I need to reiterate, yes, I am not good at games. I love them and play them a lot, but I would never say, yeah, I'm good at games. So the way I have been playing through the Trails games so far is play the game on easy, finish the game on easy, start New Game Plus on the highest difficulty, which is normally Nightmare difficulty, mop up the missing achievements, finish the game on Nightmare, and this gives me the chance to power level my dudes in preparation for the challenge that is the hardest difficulty. So far in Trails, that has been a pretty good strategy. OG Trails and Remake Trails were cakewalks on Nightmare difficulty after an easy playthrough. Trails SC, which is apparently the hardest of the games on Nightmare, doesn't require a playthrough on Nightmare to get the achievement, so I just straight up skipped it. But Trails 3 requires finishing on Nightmare. And let me tell you, playing all of the way through the first 6 chapters was a fucking delight. Monsters fell lightning quick and I had 0 issues. Up until the end of chapter 6 and the fight against Cassius. That dude brutalized me. He turned me into chum and threw my body parts to the fucking sharks. After some reorganizing of my orbments, I got him a couple of game overs later. Awesome, the game was finally getting good. Then I got to chapter 7 where it's just Reese and Kevin walking around in hell, and those bosses were all literal nightmares. I was constantly reorganizing orbments and gear to try again and again. Due to the way that Trails does leveling, I couldn't even grind out a couple of levels. I basically had to hide them in the corner of the battlefield and spam Earthwall until I could drop their 200-point S-crafts, and this was not even guaranteed to work. And to compound this, all of my gladiator gear, equipment that is used to speed up the earning of SP, was on my characters who weren't available in this chapter, so it was just attrition until I finally eked out a win. The boss battles in Chapter 8 were likewise insane. I followed a dude's flowchart online to give everyone the best gear and orbments and to shuffle them into the best teams, cause the final chapter divides all 16 party members into 4 teams of 4, so you have to use everyone. And I had leveled everyone up to level 140 on easy, so I thought I was good. I was not. I managed to win in the end obviously, but every single boss battle was insane. The battle against the Red Dragon took like 45 minutes. Just Shara and Olivier constantly healing Julia and Annalise while they tried to let loose with their 200-point S-crafts. Just wild. And then the final battle. Holy crap, you guys. That guy humbled me over and over and over again. Just getting 3 turns for every 1 that my guys would get and turning us into mulched dog food. I eventually won out by spamming 200-point S-crafts and using Zerum powders on Richard and just constantly pounding on the boss with those 200-point S-crafts. It was so satisfying when I finally killed that guy. And in hindsight, very happy I never had to do this in Trails SC. Had to. What a silly thing to say. Video games have truly broken my brain. TLDR, challenging endgame was challenging and a lot of fun. Trails in the Sky the Third is a wild experience. Falcom made a really good fan disc for fans with this game. This game is absolutely balls out wild. Those first two games are great, but this game is great and bonkers. If this series ended here now, I would be beyond satisfied. To see such a bizarre and outlandish epilogue to those first two games was truly awesome. Trails the Third is somehow a great epilogue to the In the Sky games, a great bridge from those games to the next part of the series, and a great love letter for the fans. I've never seen a game defy my expectations as hard as this game did. I went in expecting, well, Estelle isn't the main character, and didn't expect much beyond. Okay, that was fine, but I got something absolutely crazy. This game is like opening a cooler and expecting to find a Budweiser, but finding a Pabst Blue Ribbon? Is that a beer that people like? I have no... Trails in the Sky Third really left a mark on me. So far, I have really enjoyed this series. The massive overarching story, the incredibly well-developed characters, the themes, the music, the vibe, everything is so damn good, but this game shifted the series from being really good to being one of my favorites. The Legend of Heroes now sits next to Shining Force, Phantasy Star, Lunar, and Suikoden as one of my absolutely favorite game series of all time. We are only 3 games into this series, and the devs already felt confident enough to experiment, and that experimentation was a total success. It's like they handed themselves the keys to their own kingdom and said to themselves, just go. I loved the shit out of this game. I love this damn series, and I can't wait to get on to Trails from Zero. For RPG Fortress, I'm Richard, thanks for watching, see you soon, and don't forget to hug a cat. Goodbye for now.